You're the boss.
I'm the boss. Welcome to Tom Shalhoub and Jackie the Joke Man Martling. How to be Tom Shalhoub. A podcast starring me, Tom Shalhoub. Each week, I explore a topic or speak with someone I find interesting, someone I think you could learn from. By listening, you might gain some insight into what it's like to be Tom Shalhoub. Now, why would anybody want to do that? Well, look, you have to model yourself after someone, right? Might as well be me. I mean, who are you going to be, Albert Einstein? Much easier to start with someone simple, like me, Tom Shalhoub. So why don't you tell me about Jackie Martling, the Joke Man, the film?
Years ago, I was approached. They wanted to do a documentary on me. They started doing it. And my radio partner, Ian Carr, we had a radio show on the Howard 101 channel for 8 years, from like 2006 to 2014. And about halfway through, he didn't like the way the film was going. So he took the reins and started working on the documentary. Of course, the pandemic hit. And then once we got it, so we could load it into a distributor, that took 6 months. And then it finally got up. It was a long, long haul. But then now finally it's up. And if you want to see it, it's at jokemanmovie.com, and that gives the link and gives the reviews and says all kinds of stuff about it. And we're doing our first public screening at the Long Island Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame, and I'm very psyched about it. It should be really fun. We're going to show the movie and then do a Q&A, and everybody has, even 20 years later, people still have Howard Stern questions and comedy questions and joke questions. And I've been around a long time, so I probably got people, parent suits and all. Who knows who's going to come out of the woodwork?
Now, Jackie, I'm here. How do you hear? You can hear me fine?
I hear you fine. You're not hearing me?
I'm wondering if people are watching this and hearing the same echo as I hear. So what I'm going to do is this, Jackie. We're going to end the stream. I'm going to come back in and record this. We're going to record the podcast, and then we're going to post it after it's done, just so I can make sure the audio is correct. You know what? People are watching. CB Michael is on here. He leaves me a note here. He says, no echo on my end. So he's watching it. The studio is fine. So let's keep going. I don't know if you remember having lunch with me at the Friars Club. It was set up by Ken Greengrass back in the day, when Ken Greengrass, the legendary music producer, used to bring people together for lunch. Do you remember that?
I remember Ken Greengrass, but that had to be 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago.
It was in the 90s. It was you and me. Janine Garofalo was there.
Yeah.
Ken Greengrass, maybe Soupy Sales. I forget. There was one other guy.
Yeah, if I remember, and we were way in the back at the main table in the dining room underneath the Friars logo. I kind of remember that.
Obviously, people know you from Stern. You were the head writer and I guess radio producer for Howard for years, right? And
not producer, but the head writer and of the TV shows and the radio shows for a long time, until I left.
When we were at lunch back in the 90s, you were very open. You talked about your experience with Howard. I don't know if you do that in public, if you talk about Howard. I know, that was the way after you guys kind of split up. It was like there was acrimony. He was kind of dissing you on the air. What's any relationship with Howard now?
No, I sent him a happy birthday text yesterday, but we don't, there's no real relationship. I mean, I went in there on the show one time in like 2012 to promote a gig, and that was the only time I was ever on. And, but he, I had my own radio show on Howard 101 for 8 years. So there was that. And, we used to go to the Stern Christmas parties. But as far as a regular relationship, no, I don't have a relationship with him or Robin or Gary or Fred. But I do have a relationship with every other single person I ever met in my life. So try and figure that one out.
In the PR for the film, it says Jackie remembers every joke that he's ever heard since he was 8 years old. And
I do, but I don't. You know what I mean? It's like hype is everything. Do I remember more than anybody else? Yes. And it's frightening. And very often I can remember who told me the joke and where I was. But now I'm 75 years old. So sometimes somebody will say, why'd the chicken cross the road? And I'll go, crap, I used to know that one. So who knows,
How can they see this film? And I'm assuming you're going to be there to make a live appearance, right?
Yeah, we're screening the movie 7 p.m. on Saturday night, January 27th at the Long Island Music Hall of Fame, jokeland.com. There's still tickets available. And if you want to just go on Vimeo and see the movie, the link and all the reviews and all the information about the movie is on jokemanmovie.com. And it's such a cast of characters, Willie Nelson, Penn Jillette, Sean Young, Mark Cuban, and my ex-wife and my girlfriend and my mother, and not my mother, my sister, my brother-in-law, my niece and nephew. They're all in there.
So this is great. We got people, if they're going to be on Long Island, they can go see it live on the 27th. But you're saying that the movie is on Vimeo. So people, if they're looking at this from Wisconsin or something, they can just go on to Vimeo and watch the movie, right?
Absolutely. jokemanmovie.com. I don't think you can buy it. You can only rent it, but it's like $3.99, which is not going to break anybody's bank. If you have a question for me, I answer every email, and I always have. I answer every letter, every card. That's how I wound up with Rodney Dangerfield and Howard Stern and Les Paul and Gershon Legman. I've just always been voracious about communication because I like to tell jokes. I like to make people laugh. So you can email me, jokeland@aol.com, just like you email me, JOKELAND, jokeland@aol.com. I'll just answer with something.
I'm putting it on the screen.
Looter. Good. There it is. Perfect. It's amazing. I've been around a long time, so I've performed all over the country, and I do these interviews, and I get, hey, Jackie, do you remember me from Denver? Hey, do you remember me from Myrtle Beach? This is Charlie. Remember I was there with my uncle, and do you remember me? My name is Sarah. We rolled around naked for 3 days, and now I don't remember that.
This is great. Jackie, it's great having you on. I'm so glad you could take the time to do a live stream here. I'm going to repost this video. So, it's live, but I'm going to download it. We'll pop it onto the site. I'm also going to put a link to the Vimeo, and people can go on there and they can pay the $3.99 and they can watch the movie. Great to see you. Those were legendary days back in the 90s at the Friars Club. And that was such a weird time. We were hanging out with people, Soupy Sales and Chuck Barris, and the people that came in and out of that place. Larry Storch is there. It was such a great time, and it was the end of the great era of that Friars Club show business.
I loved it. Henny Youngman and Freddie Roman and Dick Capri and Red Buttons. You never knew who was going to pop in there. I ran into Bill Dana there. And you're probably not old enough, but Bill Dana was Jose Jimenez. Do you remember
He went to Emerson. That's where I went to school at Emerson College. Bill Dana was one of the first graduates of Emerson College.
Is that he was? I was at the Friars, and I got a tap on the shoulder, and I turned around, and he said, "Joke man, give me a hug." And I gave him a hug, and I said, "Jose?" I said, "How can Jose Jimenez know who I am?" He says, "Oh man, I'm a big fan." And we were pen pals up until he died. He lived in Nashville, and he's just a great, great character. He helped create Get Smart. Do you remember All the Family, of course, right?
I didn't have any idea that Bill Dana was involved in that. He must have, he knew Norman Lear.
He wrote the episode where Sammy Davis Jr. kissed Archie. Bill Dana wrote that episode, one of the top 10 sitcom episodes of all time. He was great. He was just the greatest guy in the world.
That's amazing. Well, listen, Jackie, let's plug it one more time. 27th.
The Long Island Music and Entertainment Hall of Fame in Stony Brook on Long Island. It's at 7 p.m. It's going to screen the movie. And then we're in a nice long Q&A, answer any question. Then I'm going to hang out, pictures and sign autographs and just have a merry, merry old time. And there's also a Billy Joel exhibit. So it's going to be really, really great. And if you forget the information, it's all on jokeland.com. And like I said, email me. I'd love to hear from you. jokeland@aol.com.
Jackie, thanks so much for hanging out.
My pleasure.
Have a good one.
All right, you too.
How to be Tom Shalhoub.